A part of this letter that was sent to the judge yesterday was a list of all the communication that the Baldoni and Wayfarer team wants from Blake Lively. I think it's about 133 points here of people and different companies that they want all communications with.
The explosive court order that could end Blake Lively's career. Here's why Blake Lively is in full panic mode after a federal judge exposed her secret tactics and ordered her to hand over everything, including texts with Taylor Swift, communications with TMZ, and details about 133 blocked witnesses. Like and subscribe right now because this legal tsunami is about to drown her carefully crafted image. The protective order disaster. Blake begged Judge Lewis Liman to hide her texts with Taylor Swift, claiming Baldoni's team wanted them for PR narratives. The judge instantly shut her down, ruling the messages could prove or disprove claims. Self-Sabotage Exposed. Blake's own legal filings named Swift as a key witness with knowledge of the working environment. On It Ends With Us. The judge blasted her hypocrisy. You don't get to shout someone's name in a lawsuit then play dumb when questioned about it. The 133-person Blacklist. Baldoni's attorney, Bryan Freedman, uncovered her attempt to block testimony from a Hollywood who's who, including Bradley Cooper, TMZ reporters, Ryan Reynolds, director Shawn Levy, Deadpool, and podcast host Liz Plank, who dropped Baldoni 2 hours after the NYT hit piece. The Taylor Swift trap. Relevant info backfires. Blake's amended lawsuit explicitly stated Taylor had knowledge of complaints about the set environment, creative input, and the alleged smear campaign. This gave Baldoni's team the legal green light to demand every text, email, and DM between them. Gaslighting gone wild. Blake claimed Baldoni already saw the texts, while Swift's lawyer, Baldoni's team, and the judge confirmed nothing was ever produced. Her contradictory spin collapsed in court. PR warfare unmasked. Baldoni's crisis team exposed Blake's August 2024 scenario planning document targeting Swift's fanbase. The judge noted her team's obsession with influencing the TS fanbase instead of legal merit. The forged HR complaint scandal. Fake paperwork, real consequences. Self-proclaimed forensic psychologist Dr. Leslie Dobson circulated forged HR letters accusing Baldoni of harassment. These fakes matched Blake's emotional distress claims perfectly, down to identical phrasing. Sony's silence equals guilt. Dobson claimed Sony was her source, but the documents lacked authentication, dates, and official formatting. The court is now investigating if Blake's team coordinated this evidence tampering scheme. Emotional distress claims vanish. Blake quietly dropped her intentional infliction of emotional distress claims days after Dobson's forgeries were exposed. Co-defendant Jed Wallace walked free. Proof her case was crumbling. The media smear machine. TMZ's suspicious sourcing. Baldoni's team demanded all Blake's comms with TMZ journalists. Evidence suggests her camp-fed narratives about Baldoni's toxic behavior to manufacture a victim storyline. Daily Mail and the Bully Playbook. Communications with Daily Mail reporters reveal Blake's team pushed words like sexual predator and smear campaign, phrases Ryan Reynolds later parroted publicly. Judge's brutal reality check. The court ruled media criticism isn't defamation unless it's malicious lies. Blake's claim that negative headlines equals harassment was dismissed as First Amendment protected speech. Perjury pitfall. Blake Lively will face a sworn deposition on June 23rd in a federal courtroom stripped of PR handlers, spin doctors, and legal theatrics. Under oath, she must answer direct questions about every contradiction in her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. The stakes? Felony perjury charges for any provable lie. Judge Liman's rejection of her protective order motion means Baldoni's legal team can confront her with recovered digital evidence. Forensic specialists extracted deleted texts between Blake and Taylor Swift discussing the It Ends With Us set environment, Baldoni's conduct, and Blake's alleged emotional distress. TMZ communications. Leaked email chains showing Blake's team feeding narratives to journalists. Witness testimonies. Statements from crew members contradicting her harassment claims. If Blake evades questions or misremembers timelines, Baldoni's attorney Bryan Freedman can petition for criminal referrals. With no redo in depositions, this is her only chance to explain why she named Taylor Swift as a witness, then hid their texts. Why her emotional distress claims vanished when challenged. Why she falsely claimed Baldoni already saw the swift messages. The PR blackout. Judge Liman barred Blake's crisis team from scripting responses, communicating with her during breaks, coordinating with media about testimony. This leaves Blake isolated, forced to testify without her usual narrative armor. Performing arts tactical confusion, how Blake's legal games backfired. The document trade debacle. Days before the deposition, Blake's lawyers attempted to stall evidence production with chaotic maneuvers. Canceled critical meetings, abruptly called off negotiations with Baldoni's legal team about undisclosed texts. Bizarre trade offers. Demanded unreleased It Ends With Us footage, Ryan Reynolds' project schedules, and Sony's internal emails in exchange for basic compliance. Last-minute protective orders, filed requests to hide communications after missing deadlines. Judge Liman shredded these tactics as intentional tactical confusion, designed to waste time and confuse the court. His ruling was brutal. Stop creating chaos. Produce the evidence. No conditions, no trades. The therapy records retreat. When Baldoni's team subpoenaed Blake's therapy notes, psychiatric evaluations, medical records to verify emotional distress, her legal team dropped all emotional distress claims overnight. But the damage was done. Judge Liman ruled Blake could still discuss distress under other claims, sexual harassment/retaliation, but with no privacy protections. She must now describe trauma under oath without medical proof, opening her to credibility attacks. The secret subpoena scandal. Months before suing Baldoni, Blake's company Vanson Productions secretly subpoenaed his former publicist, talent agents, It Ends With Us HR staff, demanding proof of Baldoni's smear campaign. The court called this a bad faith fishing expedition and accused Blake of manufacturing evidence. Broken heart Ryan Reynolds' dismissal. Blake's power couple shield shatters. Why the court cut Ryan loose. Judge Liman dismissed all claims against Reynolds after finding zero evidence he spread Baldoni's sexual predator label as alleged. No proof he doubted Blake's accusations when supporting her. No legal basis to hold him responsible for Blake's claims. Blake's 3 devastating losses. Financial isolation. Reynolds' legal fees, previously shared, now fall solely on Blake. PR collapse. Joint crisis teams disbanded. Blake's handlers must fight alone. Narrative disintegration. His dismissal implies the court sees Blake's case as personal, not spousal. The solo deposition effect. With Reynolds legally detached, Baldoni's attorney can grill Blake exclusively about her actions, texts, media leaks, PR strategy. She can't deflect questions by referencing Reynolds' support. Jury sympathy for protective husband. Narrative vanishes. Fire the dominoes falling. How these 3 factors crush Blake's case. Factor Blake's position pre-June post-judgment reality. Deposition controlled narrative via PR isolated, under oath, no safeguards. Tactical confusion. Delays via legal games court-ordered evidence surrender. Reynolds' dismissal shared liability/resources sole financial/legal burden. The psychological toll. Insiders describe Blake as panicked and unprecedented. She fired 3 PR advisors after Reynolds' exit. Her legal team debates settlement daily. The deposition's perjury risk triggers severe anxiety. She rehearses answers 6 hours daily. Why she can't recover. Digital evidence is unforgiving. Deleted texts about orchestrating backlash or joking about trauma will surface. Hollywood abandonment. Agents quietly distancing. A-listers avoiding It Ends With Us promotions. Public perception shift. Once #Team Blake. Trends now drown in lively lies hashtags. Gemstone final verdict. A career-defining meltdown. The June 23rd deposition isn't a legal hurdle. It's Blake Lively's reputation execution. Every tactic she used, PR spins, evidence hiding, Reynolds' shield, collapsed under judicial scrutiny. What remains? A mountain of contradictions. Recovered digital receipts. A lone star facing sworn testimony. When Blake leaves that deposition room, one truth will dominate headlines. She gambled on Hollywood's rules in a federal courtroom and lost everything. The $400 million house of cards. Blake Lively's entire lawsuit hinges on a single narrative that Justin Baldoni subjected her to a campaign of harassment that caused severe emotional distress and professional sabotage. But Taylor Swift's unreleased texts threaten to vaporize this claim. Internal communications reveal Blake's team specifically identified Swift as possessing critical knowledge of 3 explosive topics. The true it ends with us set environment. Was it toxic or just demanding? Baldoni's alleged creative interference. Did he overstep or follow studio mandates? The origins of the smear campaign. Was Baldoni the source or Blake's own PR missteps? The joke that could sink everything. If Swift's texts show Blake laughing about backlash. LOL, can you believe TMZ ran with that? Admitting creative disputes were routine? Ugh. Justin's notes are annoying but normal. Discussing PR strategy to play victim. If we lean into the trauma angle, fans will side with us. Her claims of harassment causing emotional collapse become perjury bait.
Why?
Her lawsuit describes sleepless nights, crippling anxiety, and career-threatening sabotage, not casual gossip. Digital forensics don't lie. Baldoni's legal team hired data recovery specialists to extract deleted iMessages between Blake and Taylor, reconstruct edited Signal/WhatsApp chats, verify timestamps showing when Blake discussed Baldoni versus when she claimed distress. Example, if texts show Blake joking about Baldoni on May 12th, but her lawsuit claims she was hospitalized for distress on May 10th, the disconnect proves fabrication. This smear campaign that never was Blake's self-sabotage. Projection at its most damning. Blake accused Baldoni of orchestrating a shadow campaign to paint her as difficult, but the court discovered she was the architect. Influencer payoffs. Her marketing director paid Instagram commentators $50 to $200 per post to amplify Baldoni's unprofessionalism. Fake HR letters, forged complaints, matching Blake's lawsuit wording, were circulated by forensic psychologist Dr. Leslie Dobson, who Blake followed/funded. The judge's brutal fact check. When Blake claimed Baldoni used anonymous sources to smear her, the court found no evidence Baldoni contacted media. All negative leaks traced back to Blake's publicist, Leslie Sloan, Ryan Reynolds' business partner at a PR firm Blake uses. Fan accounts operated by Vanson Productions, Blake's company. The Liz Plank smoking gun. Podcast host Liz Plank dropped Baldoni 2 hours after a Blake-approved hit piece ran in the New York Times. Their uncovered text show. Blake's team, Liz, run the Baldoni segment now. NYT piece drops at 9 a.m. Plank, done. Audience will eat it up. This proves Blake weaponized media to create the smear she blamed on Baldoni. Char decreasing credibility annihilation. 8 self-inflicted wounds. Blake's legal maneuvers didn't just fail. They framed her as a perjury risk. Tactic her claim reality exposed in court credibility damage. Begging for protective orders to stop Baldoni's harassment. Hiding exculpatory texts. Looks guilty. Blocking 133 witnesses, they're irrelevant, included Baldoni's alibi's evidence suppression. Dropping emotional distress claims, streamlining the case. Avoided therapy record subpoenas, hiding lack of proof. Baldoni saw my text. No need to share them. Swift's lawyer denied it, caught lying. Filing amended lawsuits, new evidence found. Added Swift after media backlash, legal theater. Ignoring discovery deadlines, busy schedule, judge ruled. Intentional stalling, contempt of court. Secret bans and subpoenas, standard research, deemed. Bad faith evidence, mining, process abuse. Fake HR letters, not involved. Dobson's funding traced to Blake evidence. Courtrooms care about proof, not aesthetics. You can't perform your way out of facts. Judge Lewis Liman. This silenced Blake's legal team.
Why?
Their entire strategy relied on PR optics over evidence, leaking victim photos to People magazine. Celebrity sympathy, using Reynolds/Swift for character witness aura. Narrative loopholes, claiming emotional distress without medical proof. Puzzle piece the psychology of a self-destructive lawsuit. Blake's fatal flaw, treating federal court like a Netflix PR campaign. The Gossip Girl mentality. In Hollywood, Blake could spin narratives via exclusive interviews, bury scandals with team-approved leaks, use fame to intimidate critics. But federal rules demand evidence, emotion, transparency, theatrics, perjury penalties, Instagram apologies. Why she doubled down. Legal experts suggest Blake assumed Baldoni would settle to avoid bad press. The court would fast-track dismissal for an A-lister. Media would side with her woman versus predator framing. All 3 assumptions failed catastrophically. The panic moves that made it worse. June 17th document, trade, offer. A desperate Hail Mary to hide Swift's texts by demanding Baldoni's unreleased film footage. The judge saw through it instantly, quietly dropping claims, abandoning emotional distress allegations after Baldoni subpoenaed her therapist. This signals retreat, not strategy. Firing PR teams mid-case. 3 crisis managers quit after Reynolds was dismissed, proving the power couple, Shield, was irreplaceable. Balance scale. How these contradictions change the deposition. On June 23rd, Blake won't face questions. She'll face digital receipts. Baldoni's attorney Bryan Freedman will play recovered audio clips, voicemails of Blake laughing about drama queen Baldoni, while her lawsuit claimed trauma. Display side-by-side comparisons. Her lawsuits, harassment, dates versus texts showing her at concerts/spas those same days. Force admissions about forged evidence. Did you approve Dr. Dobson's fake HR letters? Your accountant paid her. The only exit ramps left. Settlement. Paying Baldoni millions to avoid testimony, but validates his claims. Perjury. Lying under oath. Risks felony charges. Walkaway. Dismissing her own case. Admits defeat. All options confirm the contradictions annihilated her credibility. Gemstone. Final reality. A cautionary tale for Hollywood. Blake Lively's case imploded because she prioritized image curation over evidence, celebrity alliances over testimony, media spin over judicial process. The result? A $400 million lawsuit reduced to 3 inescapable contradictions that even A-list power can erase. The world won't remember Blake as a victim, but as the plaintiff who weaponized the system until it devoured her. Blake Lively isn't fighting for justice. She's running from the truth. With the deposition looming, her dropped claims, exposed forgeries, and Swift's texts entering evidence, this isn't a trial. It's a reckoning. Her Hollywood redemption? Cancelled. Her reputation? In ashes. Her legal future? A federal disaster movie with no happy ending. Smash that subscribe button because when Blake takes the stand on June 23rd, we'll be the first to expose every damning detail. Comment Team Truth if you think she'll finally admit the lies.